Hey guys, I'm Theo, I'm a physical therapist, and in this video we're going to show you how to better preserve your shoulders in the bench press and the push-up position. Now first thing you'll notice is that bench is a little narrow compared to Doug, so if you have that option to use a wider bench, I'd recommend starting there. If you don't have that option, we'll kind of talk you through on how you don't always want to go real deep into that bench press, okay? So the easiest way to set up the bench press, it's a few steps you can set up on your own, just kind of walk yourself through this mantra. But if he places his arms straight out in front, a little bit wider than shoulder width, if he's starting with his palms down, all he's gonna do is twist his hands up. And as he does that, he should feel like his shoulder blades engage around the middle of his back, okay? He feels that, good? He's gonna keep that engagement and turn his hands back over. He's good to go. So now at this point, he's gonna grab the bar. As he's descending, he's gonna rip that bar apart and he's gonna keep his elbows in slightly. So this angle here is optimal. We want to try to avoid this, and unless you're trying to target the tricep, super close and narrow is going to kind of take away the effect as well. So definitely try to avoid the wide elbow, but that arm at a 45-degree angle is optimal. Yeah. So we're not trying to throw ourselves into the bar. We're not shrugging. We're not arching. We're not kind of putting stress on everything else. We're trying to create a nice stable position for the shoulder to engage. So if he had a bar, it would look like that. He'd grab the bar wherever he feels comfortable. Good. And then he would descend. So he's going to rip that bar apart on the way down and then drive back up. Good. So try to squeeze those shoulders a little bit more. Good. And then back up. So a good tool to use, like a yoga block or even just a cue, right about there is all you need with benching, and then come back up. As he loads that position deeper, if you're missing rotation, it'll show up in the front of the shoulder. You can drive back up, good. So it's important to understand that just because the bar and the bench allow you to go into that deep position, it's not always necessary. And a lot of professions will purposely avoid that to decrease the tension and the stress that can develop in the shoulder and lead to some pretty serious injuries. So another common way you'll see the bar get set up is establishing the grip first. So once somebody establishes where they want their hands, you'll see their hips pop up and then that hard retraction. So they'll lock their shoulders in, and now they're in a position similar to what we had before. But if you notice, this is often the compensation is the lower back starts to lose that engagement. And unless you're in a powerlifting competition or something where you're trying to leverage that weight and use momentum, this position isn't always ideal. Setting up the way we had shown before allows you to kind of feel that tension develop in the shoulder blade as you're digging into the bench. And then as you're moving through the rep range, you have the ability to kind of see what that feels like without sacrificing any other body parts. Now, the other thing to think of too is foot position. You can easily rest your feet on the bench and have the same amount of pushing capacity as if you were having your feet down on the ground. So if you're shorter or the bench is taller and you notice that having your feet planted naturally creates that arch, you want to dissipate that. So use dumbbells, put your feet on the dumbbell, rest your feet on the bench, whatever choice you want to use. Just make sure those positions feel good on the shoulder. You should not feel anything painful in the shoulder. So with the push-up position, we're trying to create the same stability through the shoulder, but now we have to engage the entire body. So for all intents and purposes, the push-up could be far more demanding than the bench press. If I'm teaching somebody to start from a push-up, I'm actually going to have them start in the top position. So if he comes on up, if he's just holding this position, this should be completely flat. So the misconception is in this position, you're trying to squeeze your shoulder blades together, and that's not the goal at all. This stays flat. So before he starts to descend, he's gonna pretend like he's ripping the floor apart, but he's also gonna keep the glutes firing as hard as possible. He's gonna keep his abs firing. So just by creating full body stability, he's shaking. That's exactly what he should be feeling. So as he descends, he's gonna keep that floor ripping sensation, and he's gonna keep the elbows where they are good and come back up. Now at the bottom, he starts to translate forward a little bit more than I would like to see. So if I was watching somebody perform these, I would place some kind of a cue and say, do not touch the ball. And at the bottom, what I should be seeing, and I maybe even start a little bit larger for him, I shouldn't see this, but I'm gonna remind that person to keep that shoulder blade engaged, because the bottom of the push-up is a real threatening position for the shoulder if you just let it collapse forward. So that's why we need rotation in the shoulder, especially with the bottom of a push-up. For more tips on reducing pain and improving your performance and durability, go to tvphysio.com and grab a copy of my performance manual. If you want to see more videos like this, subscribe to SOFLETE and check out all the other videos.